Let me give you the best of ancient script. Here's what it says. Whatever your hands find to do, do it with all your might, do it with all your strength, and do it with all your power. What a good philosophy. That kind of philosophy will revolutionize your life if you haven't picked it up lately. Can't give you better advice than that. Turning wisdom from your philosophy and inspiration, strengthening of attitude, faith, courage, commitment, all this stuff that comes from attitude. If you're willing to take these two qualities, philosophy and attitude, and invest it into activity, you can have a miracle. Anything short of that, no miracle. Wisdom doesn't perform a miracle. Attitude doesn't perform a miracle. The only thing that performs a miracle of increase called equity is called putting wisdom and attitude into discipline, into labor. And this labor now can perform a miracle.
See, I don't believe that necessity is the mother of invention. No. Necessity, in my opinion, is not the mother of invention. Refusing to accept things the way that they are is the mother of invention. When you decide, I'm not going to settle for this. This is not going to be it for my life. I deserve more than this. See, that will start making you do some stuff. See, a lot of people go to work every day miserable, and all they do is just talk about how miserable they are. But they don't do anything about it.
I'm quite certain that every one of you can relate to this. When I was a little boy, my mother would say, "Why did you do that?" I'd say, "I don't know." She'd say, "What do you mean you don't know? You know better." "I know." "Why'd you do it?" "I don't know." Whereas, why did you do that? We don't know why we did it. We know better. We know we didn't have to do it. We didn't want to do it, and we do it anyway. Now, it's a strange thing that a high percentage of all people walking on the planet are going through that. They know how to live the way they want to live. They know how to treat people the way they should treat people. But that doesn't mean they're going to do it. In most cases, they don't do it. And that's rather sad because they want to. So what they're doing, they're working with an unseen enemy that's programmed right into their mind.
You just got to go home and make a list after today. And here's the question to ask as you make this personal list. What am I not doing that would be easy to do? That could greatly change my health, my wealth? What am I not doing I'm neglecting that would be easy to do? Errors in judgment, disaster. Few simple disciplines, wealth beyond imagination. And if you'll pick up the activity part, the miracle working part, plant the seed part, take care of your part. The soil will take care of its part, the seed will take care of its part. If you'll take care of your part, called putting it into activity, action. Works miracles. 2,000 years ago, on April 13th, one of Jesus' disciples said to Jesus, "It's time to pay our taxes and we don't have any money." That's how come I know it was about April 13th. Just as I can read the record, Jesus said, "No problem." Now, why could he say no problem? Well, word has it, he was a miracle worker. If you handed a problem to a miracle worker, what would he be inclined to say? No problem. You got to hang out with folks like that. I belong to a small group like that. We do business around the world. You hand these guys a problem, they say no problem. What? How many books would they read to solve it? As many as it takes. How early would they get up? Early as it takes. How much information would they get? As much as they needed. So it's what? No problem. You got to hang out with folks like that. Jesus said, this will be no problem, the tax thing. He said to his disciple, it's simple. Go fishing. Wow. Now that was easy for this particular disciple. His name was Peter. And Peter was a fisherman. How clever. How clever. But here's the real problem. If you should fish, and you could fish, and you don't fish, you got no miracle. You could change, you should change, you won't change. That's called accumulated disaster. could, should, don't. And if you'll just start the process of change, could, should, and will, you can start this whole process. And if you will, then put it into action, the miracle belongs to you. Jesus said to his disciple, it'll be simple. Go fishing, and the first fish you catch, look in his mouth. Peter said, okay. He was used to strange things happening in this relationship. Peter goes fishing, catches the first fish, looks in his mouth. Guess what's in the fish's mouth? Coins. Starts counting the value of these coins, and when he adds it up, guess how much it added up to? Exactly enough money to pay his taxes and Jesus' taxes. Now we call that what? A miracle, only because we don't quite understand how it works. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. It simply means we don't quite understand how it works. But here's how you get a miracle going for your life. Number one, do what you can. Get a list of the stuff you could do, you haven't done, postponed, and start cleaning that up. You can't start at a better place for personal change. That'll affect your bank account, affect your future, affect your income, affect everything. You can't start a better life change process than cleaning up what you should be doing. Don't walk like other people walk. Don't postpone like other people postpone.
And I was reading a newspaper that said that millions of people are dying because of what they're eating, talking about their diet. So that even more are dying because of what's eating them. You've got to find ways to increase your sense of self-appreciation, because if you don't, you're bombarded with negative stuff every day that beats you down, and you will find yourself unconsciously engaged in self-destructive behavior. If you don't program yourself, life will program you.
You don't need massive bombard pre-conscious, subconscious. Practice channeling, find a 2,000-year-old guru. I mean, you don't need any of that stuff. This stuff's too easy. This stuff's too simple. Call, take action, number one, on neglect, on errors, in discipline. Number two, start setting up some disciplines. And if you'll do that, you'll perform a miracle. If that's not your philosophy, I would ask you to amend it. Guy slips in late, company doesn't seem to mind, slips out early, first one in the parking lot, heading for happy hour. Stretches his break, comes early for lunch, late back from lunch, company doesn't seem to notice. Guy says, best as I can calculate, I'm putting in about a half a day's work and I'm collecting a full day's pay. And the guy says, I got it made. Little does he know the seeds of his own disaster are already being sown by the weakness of his own personal philosophy. It's not the economy that's going to determine your next 6 years. It's your philosophy about labor and about activity. It's your philosophy and your attitude, and then your ability to take action. All of that we call the process of life change, miracle working.
Where have you been? Why are you here? And where are you going? You look at your life. You look at what you produce. Is it giving you what you want? Are you living on purpose? Are you living your dream? Are you acting on your ideas? Can do? Have you gotten comfortable? Are you procrastinating? Are you evading your own greatness? Are you challenging yourself? Are you experimenting? Are you learning something different? Is your life an adventure or is it boring? Where have you been? The major key to your reaching your dream, your living up to your greatness, your making your contribution is you. If the economy is good, fantastic. If people are positive, that's great. You don't have any opposition? That's great. But the major key to your making things happen in your life is you.
People are creatures of habit. Way back in the late 30s, Albert E. N. Gray was the Secretary to Prudential Insurance. And he wrote an article, and he said the common denominator of success was in forming the habit of doing things failures don't like to do. Now think of that. The common denominator of success is forming the habit of doing things failures don't like to do. I went along until I was 26, going in the wrong direction, picking up speed. And all of a sudden, just like that, I stopped and I went in the other direction. My income went from $4,000 a year to $14,500 a month within a year. No formal education, no business experience. Bang, just like that it happened. It wasn't an accident. I was following the direction of an individual that came into my life. He gave me this book, Think and Grow Rich, and he said, if you'll read this every day, he said the man that wrote it spent his entire life putting it together. And he said, I think it would be a very prudent move on your part if you spent the rest of your life trying to understand and apply what he wrote. And then he said, if you'll do exactly what I tell you, until you find out I'm lying or I don't know what I'm talking about. Now, then he said, listen. Your way's not working, mine is. Why don't you do what I'm telling you? I was not a happy guy. And so something, the way he said it, made sense. Your way's not working, why don't you try mine? He said, you can have anything you want. So unconsciously, I had something in me telling me this guy knew what he was talking about. I started to do exactly what he said. It wasn't that he was telling me so much. I observed what he was doing, and I would start doing what he was doing. I watched what he was reading, and I would start reading what he's reading. And you know, it's worked like unadulterated magic. And everything in my life turned around. I have learned one thing very, very well. You are not going to go very far on your own. If you don't have the help of other people, you're not going to go very far.